Y'all, what I'm about to tell you is wild. Just when we thought we had seen every twist possible in the love and hip-hop world, here comes a new bombshell that could flip everything upside down. Some fresh evidence just came out, and it's pointing to something real shady between Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees. And let me tell you, it's not the kind of thing you can brush off. The connection between them is raising a lot of eyebrows, and people are starting to question what's really been going on behind closed doors. Now, seriously, how did Chrissy and Mendeecees even end up in the same drama circle? These two never really shared the screen or had any obvious issues, so why are they suddenly the center of this mess? And why is Yandy losing it over the whole situation? We've got real proof. Text messages, anonymous tips, secret meetings, the kind of stuff that doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's got longtime fans in total disbelief. Was this some sneaky betrayal, or has it been brewing under the surface all along? You might want to grab a snack or something, because this is the kind of drama you can't walk away from. And by the time we're done here, you're going to see Chrissy and Mendeecees in a totally different light. Let's get into it. We all know Chrissy, strong-willed, speaks her mind, doesn't hold back. She's been a staple on Love and Hip Hop for years. And then there's Mendeecees, who's always talking about how he's changed and turned over a new leaf. But somehow, drama always seems to find him. Or maybe he walks right into it. What if I told you the relationship between these two is deeper than it looks? What if there's actual evidence showing they've been linked in ways we've never seen on TV? Here's where it starts getting interesting. Even though Chrissy and Mendeecees never shared much screen time, that doesn't mean they weren't moving in the same spaces behind the scenes. Way back, before Mendeecees got with Yandy, he was involved with some people who were pretty close to Chrissy's world. We're talking mutual connections, late-night meetups, and even some business deals that didn't always look professional. Now think back to the time when Chrissy and Jim Jones were caught up in all that financial drama. There were all kinds of rumors about where the money was going and how certain deals were getting handled. And guess who some insiders are saying helped make that money disappear quietly? Yep, Mendeecees. According to the sources, he was the one helping smooth things over behind the scenes. But that's not even the wildest part. We all remember Chrissy and Jim's up and down relationship. She even proposed to him on national TV, only for Jim to keep dodging the marriage question. For years. But what if it wasn't just about Jim being hesitant? What if someone else was in the picture? Someone who might have been getting too close when Jim wasn't around. That's when things start to click. Word going around is that Chrissy and Mendeecees weren't just talking business. There were whispers about late-night visits, hush-hush meetups, and situations that didn't make sense unless there was something more going on. And no, this isn't just gossip pulled out of nowhere. A source, someone who was actually close to the situation, spilled some serious details. This source says that when Jim was out of town for a few weeks, Mendeecees was seen going in and out of Chrissy's old place more than once. And before anyone says, maybe it was just a business thing. Explain to me why these visits were happening after dark and why no one was supposed to know about them. It's always suspicious when people are sneaking around and trying to keep it low-key. And here's where Yandy steps in. She's always been loyal to Mendeecees. She's stood by him through all kinds of issues. But even she couldn't ignore the red flags once the rumors started spreading. Sources say she confronted Mendeecees directly, asking him about what went down with Chrissy. And let's just say, it didn't go the way he probably expected. Instead of denying everything outright, Mendeecees hit her with the classic, "Why are you bringing up old stuff?" move. He tried to play it off, acting like she was overthinking, that people were just running their mouths. But when Yandy brought up those late-night visits and the timing of certain transactions, he didn't exactly fight back. He just went silent. And when a man goes quiet like that while he's being questioned, yeah, something's usually off. Now remember, Chrissy and Yandy have never been cool. Their beef goes way back. Chrissy always had something to say about Yandy, accusing her of being messy, controlling, and trying to run Jim's career. So now imagine Yandy finding out that Chrissy might have been moving in secret with her husband behind her back. Oh, she was definitely ready to call her out, and she did. From what we're hearing, Yandy pulled up to a private event, calm as ever. But it was that kind of calm that comes before the storm. She walked straight up to Chrissy, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "So how long have you been messing?" With my husband, the room went completely silent. Chrissy tried to laugh it off, saying Yandy was being dramatic, but Yandy wasn't playing. She came with evidence, screenshots of suspicious transactions, messages that felt way too personal. to be about business, and most shocking of all, a witness. Someone who claimed to have seen Chrissy and Mendeecees together, someone ready to speak up, and that's where this story starts to really unravel. Chrissy, who's usually quick with a clapback, didn't have much to say. For once, she looked like she didn't see it coming. But instead of owning up or even walking away, she laughed in Yandy's face, acting like the whole thing was a joke. She accused Yandy of being bored and making stuff up, but Yandy wasn't rattled. She pulled out her phone and said, before, "You laugh too hard. Maybe you should hear what this person has to say." That's when the chaos really began. Everyone in the room went quiet as Yandy hit play on a voice memo. You could hear the witness, someone named Dre, talking about how he used to drive Mendeecees to Chrissy's place multiple times. According to him, Mendeecees would always say to keep it quiet that he didn't want anyone catching wind of what was going on. And the most shocking part? Dre claimed Mendeecees admitted that Chrissy had something over him. That's why he kept going back. At that point, you could cut the tension in the room with a knife. Chrissy's face changed. She went from laughing to completely still. But, Yan? She leaned in and asked, "You still think this is funny, or should I keep going?" Chrissy had finally had enough. She stood up so fast, her drink tipped over. She walked straight up to Yandy, pointing her finger in her face like she was ready to throw down. "You really think I owe you an explanation over some fake recording?" she snapped. "You're reaching, Yandy, and it's just sad." But Yandy didn't back down. She wasn't just talking, she had proof. She pulled out her phone and showed a text thread she said came from an anonymous source. It was a conversation between Mendeecees and Chrissy. Now it wasn't anything. Obviously romantic, but the wording raised eyebrows. Messages like, "Mendeecees, you sure everything's good? Nobody asking questions, right?" Chrissy, "Nah, I got this. Just keep doing what you're supposed to. I'm not worried as long as you keep your side clean." Now, you tell me, does that sound like regular business talk? And let's not forget, Jim Jones and Mendeecees never even rocked with each other like that. So why would Mendeecees be doing anything for Chrissy in the first place? It just didn't add up. Chrissy looked furious. She turned to the people in the room, shaking her head like Yandy had lost her mind. "Y'all really believe this mess?" she asked. But the room wasn't all behind her. Some folks were giving her side eyes, others whispering, and you already know how fast rumors spread once they start. That's when Yandy hit her with the knockout line. "If this is all lies, Chrissy, why do you look so nervous right now?" Boom. Chrissy was done. She rolled her eyes, snatched her purse, and walked out the door. And right after that, social media exploded. Videos from the argument started popping up online within hours. Blogs ran with it, Twitter went wild. People weren't just gossiping anymore. They were asking serious questions. Was there some truth to what Yandy said? And here's where it gets suspicious. Mendeecees didn't say a word. No statement, no post, no attempt to clear his name. And this is the same man who always claps back when he's called out. So why? Was he suddenly quiet? Maybe because he knew talking would make it worse. Yandy, meanwhile, had enough. She packed her things, took the kids, and left the house. Sources say she even stopped taking Mendeecees' calls. This wasn't just a small fight. This felt like a breaking point. If what Yandy claimed was true, that would mean Mendeecees had been lying to her for years. And it would also mean Chrissy had been sneaky behind everyone's back. But then, there's the bigger mystery. What does Chrissy have over Mendeecees? Don't forget, Dre once said Mendeecees told him that Chrissy had something on him. That right there is what really has people talking. What kind of secret is so big that Mendeecees has to play by Chrissy's rules? And even weirder, why hasn't Jim Jones said anything? Not a post, not a comment, nothing. It's strange because Jim is usually outspoken. So, if he's staying quiet, does that mean he already knew about Chrissy and Mendeecees' arrangement? Maybe he doesn't want to stir the pot because he's worried Chrissy might have something on him too. Meanwhile, Chrissy left the building. Like she was running from a fire, and Mendeecees still hadn't said a word. And you know how people online are. When you don't defend yourself, they start filling in the blanks. That's when the theories started flying. Some fans thought maybe Chrissy and Mendeecees had history, like something before Jim and before Yandy, but that idea didn't hold up. Because then, new information came out that flipped everything. An insider from the industry, someone who claimed to know the backstory, said Mendeecees was involved in some shady business a long time ago. We already know he did time for drug trafficking, that's public record. But according to this source, Chrissy was tied to those same circles. Not just as someone who knew about it, she was actually involved. And if that's true, it changes everything. This isn't just about texts or shady conversations. This could mean Chrissy has serious dirt on Mendeecees. Legal dirt. The kind that keeps someone trapped. The kind that makes it impossible for him to walk away from her. Let's go back. A bit. Before Mendeecees went to jail in the early 2000s, it's said he and Chrissy crossed paths in ways nobody expected. Chrissy's always had ties to some heavy players in the streets. People say she knew too much, including things about Mendeecees' past dealings. And when he got locked up, maybe he thought that chapter was closed. But Chrissy didn't forget anything. In fact, she kept receipts. That same source claimed Chrissy has proof, enough to ruin him if she wanted to, and that's the real reason Mendeecees can't shake her. He owes her, and she makes sure he never forgets it. And here's where it gets even wilder. This wouldn't be the first time Chrissy used information to protect her spot. Back in the day, she wasn't just known as Jim Jones' girl, she was moving around some major names in hip-hop. And she knew stuff people didn't want out. That's how she kept her power, not by being loud, but by holding secrets. Now, it's looking like Mendeecees might be just another person caught up in her web. And once again, Jim is silent. And that silence, it says a lot. If you're loving the drama and want all the latest updates without missing a beat, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We drop the real tea, no fluff, just straight facts. And receipts. Join the crew, turn on notifications, and stay ready, because this story is far from done.